Cool. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. We are now live on rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com, and also live on the YouTubes. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. And what's going on? The early chatters are in. And we are doing, going back to the Gaslight Friday program on Friday, at least for today. So cheers, welcome, hello, greetings, salutations. Oh. Raza says, embrace the doom, it will hug you right back. Yes, I'm on time. Well, relatively on time. Well, basically on time. Yes, and my beard is connected, Raza, yes. Keith Boyd, it's Saturday morning here. You are Australian side or New Zealand side? Australian side? Where are you, Keith Boyd? Yes, so anyways, greetings, guys. Welcome. Also, lots to cover today. So I'm not going to... What's up? What's up? Osama number 5, checking in with my friends on the Fin at Black Bear News. Urban Hermit is also with us. Hello, Rockfin and Bears. What's up? Please catch me on Rockfin. We're going to talk a little more about why that's important. I know some people seem to be, make comments about their annoyance that I'm talking about YouTube or Rockfin or censorship. And yeah, I actually try my best to just ignore those comments, but there is a reason why I'm talking about this, and it's extremely, extremely important, especially if you enjoy this channel. If you enjoy real climate change info, if you enjoy real info about what's going on in the world, if you enjoy having a place to congregate and talk about climate change and all its horrific reality, you should be extremely concerned about censorship. So I'm sorry if I'm boring you or wasting your time, but it's extremely concerning to me and to this channel, so I will be talking about it however, whenever, and for however long I want to. I hope you understand that. And you should be concerned as well. If you're not, I don't know. Welcome to the end, I guess. Enjoy the sound of silence in your future. CNN had an article on weather modification, says Charlie Adams. Yes, I think we just read that. Was it on CNN or BBC? I can't remember. You were talking about Chinese weather modification, or was it different? Not sure. If it is different, please let me know. Kiro Hike says the silence is deafening. Andy the Gardener, welcome to you, Kevin. We were here first. I saw you, Andy. I saw the very, very early chatters, Human Love Solidarity. Often Andy the Gardener is there. Kevin Shanholzer is often there. Nazbanabs, often there. Nazbanab says, Merry Crisis. And to you. And to you, sir. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess I'm going to feel good about the fact that most of the time when people bring up articles, most of the time, over 50%, maybe 70% of the time, people bring up stuff into the chats. I've already covered it. We've already talked about it most of the time. Sometimes people bring me, you know, stuff I have no idea about. But let's get into it. um, yes, Kuro hikes snow, rain, and sunshine, all at the whim of the Chinese government. Right. Courtesy of your very concerned government, concerned about the weather, whether you might have some weather. Anyways, welcome, guys. Good to see you. We have 48 watching, 18 likes. Please like up the video. And I'm going to check in with my Rockfin people one more time. Snake 1974, hello. Snake says, hey. Poppy Davis says, hey, Rockfinners. I'm getting more and more views on Rockfin and more followers on Rockfin, and I thank you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me on the Rockfin. All right, let's get into it. This is a good tweet by Steve Westlake. Hopefully you guys can all see this. I'm a little delayed on my monitor. Steve Westlake says, neoliberal terms I try to avoid. Consumers, demand, innovation, pretty good. He also says net zero. Net zero being a neoliberal term. Way to go, Steve Westlake, for calling that out. The whole net zero idea being kind of a gaslight, kind of a false premise, if you will, that we will save ourselves and or stave off, horrific climate change consequences and or stay well below 2C if we get to net zero. All of that is a huge, gigantic gaslight. And, there isn't really much more to say about this. He says, any other suggestions? Maybe Green New Deal, switching to renewables, I would say. Do you guys have any other ideas? I'm gonna see if I can check you out. The Violent Hippie says, I like Rockfin. You can close the app and still listen. But I still can't get the chat to work. Well, that's pretty cool because you can't do that with YouTube, right? If you close the YouTube app on your phone, you can't listen. So, hey, that's an upside to Rockfin. Kind of like listening to a podcast, right? You can close the app generally and listen to the podcast. Keep on listening. Oh, wow. CB Younglesby says FDA head told to quit if vaccine not authorized today. Whoa. Oh, green technology, creative experiments. Yes. Sustainability. Oh, Kuro Hikes on YouTube. You can close the app. Well, because you probably subscribe to YouTube, like a premium. Right. If you just are on YouTube free, you can't close the app. Sustainable development. Yes, that's right. Rich Diana says Rockfin gaslights me by refusing entry. I'm sorry about that, Rich Diana. I'm not sure what's happening, but I apologize. They're getting better. And, I think they're working on becoming more accessible. But the main thing is that they do not suppress or censor. They do not suppress or censor. Hold on, what happened here? Not sure what's going on. Anyways, so I wanted to kind of get into some things. So first of all, I wanted to read a comment. Oh crikey. Who left me this comment? I don't know why, for whatever reason, nothing is showing up on the screen, guys. I apologize. Craig Smith, that's who left this comment. Oops. Oh, I see what's going on. Sorry. You guys got the infinity view? I apologize. For whatever reason, give me a second, guys, because I want to figure something out here. For whatever reason, my buttons aren't working on one of my apps. Crap. Give me a second, guys. All right. Sorry, YouTubes. Okay, well, let's start over. I was going to get into something, but I had to start over. Sorry, YouTubes. I have two different streaming apps open for YouTube and Rockfin, and the YouTube one just decided to not work. But you guys stick with me on YouTube. We're okay. Anyway, okay, so let's go back. What I was trying to read was a comment from Craig Smith. He said, Kev, can you do a show focused on people who have resource without those who don't, but want to connect, team up, work together to get out of the economy together? Like a commune, I guess. How do people connect? Where? I know there is a community who want to voluntarily reduce their standard of living, but are stuck working for money in this set of living arrangements. Are you, BBN, the conduit to bring these folks together? Well, let me just answer that right away. I don't know if I'm the conduit to bring people together, but I am a conduit to bring like-minded folks together. So, I cannot do everything. I can't be everything to all people. It's just impossible. But what I can do is provide information. That's why I am a news channel. Progressive news channel that focuses primarily on climate change. I try to just give people all the information that I can. And, until I have the energy, space, or time to, kind of build other things outside of Black Bear News, I can only be, informational at the moment. And we are a conduit here in the chats, and we are a conduit in the comment section of these videos. So if you would like to reach out to somebody in the comment section, Craig, please feel free to, maybe ask questions. There are people on this channel who are watching this channel who live sustainably, who might live in communities where there is sustainability is the focus. So, I would encourage you to reach out in your own community where you live, and also reach out in this community and find out. If you find people, like in my community, I'm in a community garden close by. I do gardening on my own. So, in that sense, like I am trying to better my to lower my reliance on fossil fuels, and also to, to learn all the things that I can about living sustainably. So I am in the process of, bettering myself in that work. And I think we all can do that on an individual level, and I think we all can do that as a community. He also goes on to say, we can see the wall coming. Do we all slam into it or segregate into smaller local tribes of people who choose to work together toward common goals? Food independence, water security, safe shelter, etc., to reduce the potential shock of the pending decline of industrialized civilization. So it's fairly, there's a lot of ground to cover in this question. So I'm going to quickly just sum up that I would encourage people to segregate or congregate in smaller local tribes or communities. Start the process now, because eventually when the collapse comes, economic or climate collapse, that will happen. That's going to happen regardless. When things start to break down, systems start to break down, people are going to congregate into small, viable, sustainable communities. People that can, people that, that are going to band together and take care of themselves the best they can. But you can start that process now and avoid the rush. So I would say go do that as best you can, and reach out to people in these comment sections if somebody, or reach out to people in your community. Again, what I'm trying to also, Rich Diana, yes, we are an enlightened congregation that the corporatocracy wants silenced ASAP. You are correct, sir, and that is why I talk about censorship on this channel, why it's a very important subject to me and this entire community. Incredibly important. But I think what I wanted to say, the thing that I wanted to say is that this message is getting out, whether it is on this channel or whether it is by people watching Planet of the Humans, whether it is by, on other channels, Just Have a Think, or Extinction Rebellion, or Guy McPherson, Nature Bats Last, etc., Paul Beckwith, right? There are many more, Pete Hambone, there are many more people talking about this. Environmental Coffee House, let me not forget all the people, Nick Humphrey, Jim Massa. There are so many people talking about this. I can't name them all because I'm going to forget of a lot of people, but I'm just saying there are so many people talking about this now. It is such an important issue. It is becoming, knowledge and intelligence around this issue is becoming more widespread. And I'm going to, first of all, Craig, let me just, ooh, that was weird. I didn't mean to do that. First of all, Craig, I just want to show you this. This guy is inspirational. Maybe y'all don't care, but follow this guy, Rob Greenfield, who talks about sustainable living. He lives on the food that he grows. I follow him. He's on Instagram. This is on Instagram. I'm sure he's on other places, but he highlights communities and organizations that are focused on sustainability and growing their own food and creating their own farms and living with a much, much smaller carbon footprint. So again, I'm just shining a light on other resources for you. Follow Rob Greenfield. There are a lot of resources there. So to go back to what I was saying, the message is getting out there. I know a lot of us think that the message is not getting out there. I know that is a common feeling, a common thought, that the message is not getting out there, that nobody's listening, that nobody's hearing, that nobody understands. I'm going to counter with, I think more people know than we all understand. And I'm going to show you why I think that. This is from my Facebook. A friend of mine said, so post this article. So he does not follow my channel as far as I know. Maybe he does. But these are people that I don't know really on Facebook. I mean, I know them through Facebook, but I don't know them personally. I don't really interact with them too much. They live in other places. As far as I know, they don't follow my channel. So, but my friend links this article, The Curse of White Oil Electric Vehicles, Dirty Secret. And he says, just effing ride your bicycle. It sounds like, something that somebody who watches my channel might say, or it sounds like something that I would say. But as far as I know, these are people that are not familiar with my channel. So more people are understanding than we think. And a really good comment on this post by someone named Michael Anderson: no combination of renewables has been found to equal the energy produced by a barrel of oil on a commercial scale. Only radical conservation can change this future. What's left of it? Sounds pretty doomer, or realist, if you will. Sounds, again, like something people would say on this channel, or understand on this channel. So whether you think so or not, whether you think that we're all doomed and we're all nobody understands and nobody gets it, I'm going to counter with, I believe that there is a critical mass forming. Is this critical mass going to reach velocity quick enough to change things? I don't know. But in terms of building communities or building with like-minded people in your area, neighborhood, state, city, there are more people out there than you know or understand that are aware of where we are at, aware of what we need to do, and are probably ready to form a community with you. Kevin Lawrence says, just followed. Are you talking about Rob Greenfield? Cool. Yeah, I love his posts. He's got just excellent, solid, environmental, aware information. He's got some really great ideas. I really like some of his ideas. And hopefully maybe you're talking about the other people that I'm talking about that are talking about climate change on YouTube. Hopefully you're following all those people as well. So I'm going to read this article that my friend posted, my Facebook friend. Where are we? Okay, so this is called, let's try this again. Let's hope all the buttons work. This is called The Curse of White Oil Electric Vehicles, Dirty Secret. From Tuesday, December 8th. The race is on to find a steady source of lithium. Lithium, a key component in rechargeable electric batteries. But while the EU focuses on emissions, the lithium gold rush threatens environmental damage on an industrial scale. Right. And don't forget all the coal plants that we're going to, and the natural gas plants and the all the energy that we're going to actually need to build out all of these renewable grids and or systems and or cars, et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a massive amount of energy expended building those things. All of this is a money grab. It is not meant for the betterment of the earth, but for the enriching of the oligarchs. The lithium gold rush threatens environmental damage on an industrial scale. Even before the new mine became the main topic of village conversation, João Cassotti, a 44-year-old livestock farmer, was thinking about making a change. Living off the land in his mountainous part of northern Portugal was a grind. Of his close childhood friends, he was the only one who hadn't gone overseas in search of work. So in 2017, when he heard of a British company prospecting for lithium, oh yeah, the Brits are, they're bringing down their carbon emissions, but they're overseas, prospecting for lithium in the region of Os Montes. Casote called his bank and asked for a 200,000 euro loan. He bought a John Deere tractor, an earth mover, and a portable water storage tank. Man, all those things sound like they're environmentally friendly. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get a 200,000 euro loan. We're going to buy a John Deere tractor, an earth mover, and a portable water storage tank. We're so eco-friendly. This is all about the environment, helping the environment. The exploration team of the UK-based mining company Savannah Resources had spent months poring over geological maps and surveys of the hills that ripple out from Casote's farm. Initial calculations indicated that they could contain more than 280,000 tons of lithium. We're rich. A silver-white alkali metal enough for 10 years production. Casote got in touch with Savannah's local office, and the mining firm duly contracted him to supply water to their test drilling site. All right. Thanks, guy. The return on his investment was swift. After less than 12 months on the company's books, Casote had made what he would usually earn in 5 or 6 years on the farm. Ka-ching. Savannah is just one of several mining companies with an eye on the rich lithium deposits of central and northern Portugal. The sudden excitement surrounding petróleo branco, or white oil, derives from an invention rarely seen in these parts, the electric car. Lithium is a key active material in the rechargeable batteries that run electric cars. It is found in rock and clay deposits as a solid mineral, as well as dissolved in brine. It is popular with battery manufacturers because, as the least dense material, it stores a lot of energy for its weight. Electrifying transport has become a top priority in the move to a lower carbon future. Net zero, Green New Deal, green energy. In the move to a lower carbon future, in Europe, car travel accounts for around 12% of all of the continent's carbon emissions. To keep in line with the Paris Agreement, emissions from cars and vans will need to drop by more than a third by 2030. Okay. All right. The EU, and then we're going to drop those emissions by building more cars and mining more lithium. Doesn't that make sense, guys? It makes total sense to me. The EU has set an ambitious goal of reducing overall greenhouse gas emissions by 55% by the same date. That is ambitious. EU. To that end, Brussels and individual member states are pouring millions of euros into incentivizing car owners to switch to electric. Some countries are going even further, proposing to ban sales of diesel and petrol vehicles in the near future as early as 2025 in the case of Norway. If all goes to plan, European electric vehicle ownership could jump from around 2 million today to 40 million by 2030. Good Lord. 38 million cars. Absolutely not built with renewable or sustainable energy, right? Because how much renewable or sustainable energy is in most of the mix of electric grids? Not very much. Lithium is key to this energy transition. Lithium-ion batteries are used to power electric cars as well as to store grid-scale electricity. They are also used in smartphones and laptops, but Europe has a problem. At present, almost every ounce of battery-grade lithium is imported, More than half, 55% of global lithium production last year originated in just one country, Australia. Other principal suppliers such as Chile, 23%, China, 10%, and Argentina, 8%, are equally far-flung. Lithium deposits have been discovered in Austria, Serbia, and Finland, but it is in Portugal that Europe's largest lithium hopes lie. The Portuguese government is preparing to offer licenses for lithium mining to international companies in a bid to exploit its white oil reserves. Sourcing lithium in its own backyard not only offers Europe simpler logistics and lower prices, but fewer transport-related emissions. Well, all right, there's a plus up right there. It also promises Europe security of supply, an issue given greater urgency by coronavirus pandemic's disruption of global trade. Even before the pandemic, alarm was mounting about sourcing lithium. Dr. Thea Riofrancos, a political economist at Providence College in Rhode Island, pointed to growing trade protectionism in the recent U.S.-China trade spat, and that was before the trade row between China and Australia. Whatever worries EU policymakers might have had before the pandemic, she said now they must be a million times higher. The urgency is getting a lithium supply has unleashed a mining boom, and the race for white oil threatens to cause damage to the natural environment wherever it is found. I mean, and we're not even talking about all the other materials that go into electric cars, which happen to include tires, which are made of oil. But because they are helping to drive down emissions, the mining companies have EU environmental policy on their side. It's a fundamental question behind all of this about the model of consumption and production we now have, which is simply not sustainable, said Riofrancos. Everyone having an electric vehicle means an enormous amount of mining, refining, and all the polluting activities that come with it. Remember that. There's going to be a lot of damage done in a run-up to renewable, sustainable, quote-unquote, products. So this is a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just wanted to point out the obvious problems with, for one thing, electric cars or, major renewable energy type projects. Remember, all of these things have an incredibly huge carbon footprint. And the idea is that over time, they have less of a carbon footprint because after they're made, when you use them, they emit no emissions. However, we're in a kind of a race for time here, right? So we're going to build out all these things that supposedly have no emissions. And then where are we 10, 20, 30 years from now? And after we have done all the damage to the environment creating these things. So, and also, creating these things for millions, if not billions of people. Oops, sorry. Let me just keep my thing together. Brian Melt says, oily love remains. That's good. That's good. Billy Joe Schmo Frankincense says, building an electric car produces more emissions than a car today running gasoline for a whole lifetime. Interesting quote from Osama. I'm sorry to say that there is too much point to the wisecrack that life is extinct on other planets because their scientists were more advanced than ours, says JFK 1959. Interesting quote. I've never heard that before. And very prescient. Hero Hike says electric cars produce 10 times the smog, though. Gritty Chops ban cars. Right. That's the truly radical position to take. And not a lot of people want to hear that, though. Not industrial civilization. We have 82 watching, 41 likes. Please like up the video, guys. Rockfin, we've got people watching on Rockfin. Osama says industrial civilization is truly disgusting. Poppy Davis, hello, hello. Okay, let's move on to the next thing I want to cover. Oh, we're going kind of long today, by the way, guys. Let's see. Hopefully both my streams are showing the same thing. So Jeff Gibbs posted this on Facebook. Green pillaging, red alert, brought to you by the best environmental movement, academics, and politicians money can buy. Here is their quote-unquote green plan to continue destroying the planet for fun and profit. Massacring thousands of square miles of desert habitat by plastering them with solar panels. And that's just for starters, continuing the abomination of global colonialism and environmental devastation via toxic mining across the planet. Lacking a plan to restrain and reverse growth of all things human, even if these monstrosities did replace fossil fuels, and they don't, nothing will change. I'm going to read that again. Lacking a plan to restrain and reverse growth of all things human. Even if these monstrosities did replace fossil fuels and they don't, nothing will change. For the rape of planet Earth in the name of green, it's a win-win. We environmentalists, quote unquote, can continue our sustainable, quote unquote, lifestyles and mind game of pretending carbon is the only thing that matters. And the billionaires that bought and paid for the environmental movement and the Democratic Party can cash in. If you are fighting fossil fuels and not sick and twisted plans like this to replace fossil fuels, nor biomass and biofuels, you are unfortunately merely helping the billionaires and bankers destroy what's left of nature even faster. Sorry to say, making things worse. The only way out is to end and reverse growth. Don't scream at me that that's not possible. We have no choice. Figure it out. Today's a good day to begin. Indeed. Kind of what I've been saying on this channel for years. And other people have been voicing this same sentiment. But, you know, whatever you want to call it, degrowth, ungrowth, undoing, unwinding, unraveling the trap that we have put ourselves in. Anyways, he links to another article. What's going on here? Links to another article. From Yale Environment 360, titled How Biden Can Put the U.S. on the Path to Carbon-Free Electricity. Thanks, Joe Biden. So they're, you know, just very quickly, they're using this growing awareness of the climate situation to A, sell people on this idea of converting our economy to renewable, a renewable economy, or, you know, getting people on board with a Green New Deal, et cetera, or making people real, you know, hyped about, you know, Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to do something. The Democrats are going to do something. And let me tell you, they will only do something if there's a corporation behind them making money. That's the only way they're going to do something. They're not going to do anything for you or for the planet. And, not to say that Trump was any better. He was clearly far worse, but this is just not an answer. So neither is an answer. I'm going to just kind of get into this a little bit. Even without strong action by Congress, President-elect Joe Biden will have a wide array of tools, from expanding renewables on federal lands to pushing the financial industry on climate change. That could put the U.S. on a trajectory to decarbonizing its electricity sector by 2035. That sounds pretty. Sounds pretty adventurous, and probably not very likely. And probably, again, there's going to be a whole lot of destruction along the way, and probably a whole lot of foot dragging, probably a whole lot of bills brought up and not passed in Congress. There's going to be hand wringing and foot dragging and consideration of a bill in committees and subcommittees and task forces and all kinds of stuff that's going to go on for like 4 or maybe 8 years, and in 8 years from now we're going to be like, whoa, we're way off the pace, and whatever that pace was going to. The very tepid pace that we were on to not doing anything about climate change. So he campaigned on a goal of a carbon polluting free power sector by 2035. The United States is now at 38%, 19% from nuclear, 18% from renewables. And the challenge of moving from 38% to 100% in 15 years is even more daunting than it looks. Given the upcoming retirement of nuclear power plants and the prospect that Biden may not get much help from Congress. A deeper look, however, shows that the Biden administration, with its commitment to make fighting climate change a core goal across the federal government, has a wide array of actions it can take to move the U.S. far closer to decarbonizing its electricity sector. Read my lips. We're not going to end fracking. We're not going to end fracking, and we're going to keep subsidizing the oil companies. So, sounds like they're ready to make ambitious moves. These steps include everything from significantly expanding solar and wind power installations on federal lands. Well, that will be so great for the federal lands, right? To reforming the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission and the Department of Energy to favor renewable energy development over fossil fuels. Again, it's just a shell game. To using the levers of government to ensure that dealing with climate change becomes an important priority for the country's financial industry. All these tools and more will be needed given the Biden administration's ambitious decarbonization goals and the scale of the challenges it faces. Among those challenges is that the U.S. fleet of nuclear power plants is aging, and many will be retiring in the next decade or two. They can't be retired fast enough, by the way. And here's a big quote from this article. To achieve net zero emissions by 2050 being 3 decades away, the U.S. will need to triple renewable generation capacity. That's a whole lot of building, is it not? Anyways, I just wanted to kind of get into what supposedly the Biden administration is planning. Let me see. It's interesting that they quote those numbers in that article because let me see. Electricity generation in 2017, hydroelectric, solar PV was 2%, biomass was 1%, other 2%, wind 6%, hydroelectric being 7%, and then the rest being nuclear here, 20%. Natural gas 32%, and coal, our old friend King Coal being 30%. Yeah, that's a lot of changing, and a lot of energy expended changing. Let's see. Checking in with the YouTubers. What's going on, guys? Please like up the video. Let's get to some more likes today. Let's get to like 100 likes. Like 100 likes. Valhalla says, I am like Garrison Keillor. I have a very calming voice. Thank you, Valhalla. Oh, is my screen blurry? Is my picture blurry? Have you cleaned your camera yet? I don't know. I don't know if my screen's blurry or not. It could be. I don't think so, though. It doesn't look blurry. I'm looking at me right now. I don't look blurry. Let's see. What's up, Rockfinners? Just saying hi. Thanks for watching. Got 8 people watching on Rockfin. Keep on watching. 88 on YouTube. Keep on watching. Keep on liking the videos. Yeah, I think the pick is good. Let's move on. Someone sent me, this is from November 26, 2020. Did y'all see any of this? Abnormal. The desert, there's like an ice storm in the Middle East. Well, they call it an ice storm, but it looks a whole lot like snow to me. Some of it looks like hail, but some of it really just looks like snow. I don't know if they're trying to call it hail to make people feel better about it. But somebody mentions in the chats here, they're like, that's snow, not hail. This looks like snow coming down. On, you know, if anybody's ever driven in snow, this is what it looks like. This looks dead like snow. This does not look like hail. So I don't know why they're calling it a hailstorm. Some of these clips look like hail, but some of it just looks straight up like snow. So that looks like hail. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to show you guys a little footage of weather weirding in the Middle East. That's what's happening. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Valhalla. Appreciate you. He says, Kevin doesn't get paid enough. Super chat, you people. You people. Thanks, guys. Spooky Action says, here's to a moment of Zen. Thank you, Spooky Action. I like your handle, Spooky Action. Brent McKinney, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Poppy Davis is over there leading the Rockfin Resistance. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on 2 channels at once. Some of you guys are doing double duty on double duty. Thank you guys. Keith Hayes saying it is hail is a snow job. Yeah, but that is just, that's just evidence of weather weirding again. The weather doing all manners of strange things. Rich Diana says, we're at a deficit of 10 inches of snow here. Only a trace so far. Yes, then that is, you're in Michigan, right? That's it's like middle of December. And you guys should have had some snow. But that's a rerun of like the last couple of years where winter started very late, right? Somebody asked me a question here. Forcing Climate Info. Kevin, can you show more of what happens around the world? I do. I can. I think I do pretty regularly. There's so much to cover around climate change. Like, it's such a big issue, right? I'm only one person. I'm only one channel. I can't cover all the things. I wish that I had more time to cover all the things that I would like to cover. Not just regarding climate change, but just around other news stories happening that I think are pertinent to our lives. And yeah, I will try to. I do what I can. I try to bring in kind of like, when I can, bring in like extreme weather events or extreme climate events, or talk about wildfires or heat waves, etc. But I mean, that's not a total focus of this show. Like, I'm not going to just spend every day showing you extreme weather events. I think there are other channels that do that. But I try to do my best. I hope it's enough. And also, people send me clips all the time or send me links. And I totally thank you guys for doing that. Sometimes people send me stuff. I can't see everything all the time. I'm not an omnipresent or omnipotent eyeball. I can't see everything. So if you send me stuff that maybe I wouldn't otherwise see, I really appreciate that. That helps. Yes, Climate Info. We are information junkies. I know. I'm an information junkie too, and there's just not enough time in the day to watch all the videos and read all the news. I can't. So, Basil Peterson, thank you for the super chat. I look forward to your show every day. Love the folks and the camaraderie. Thank you, Basil. Right, Boiled Rope Lamppost. Each event is part of a larger story. So, speaking of a larger story, I'm going to move on to some other stories that are not necessarily climate change related, but very important, I think. So hang out. I saw this story the other day. This is very interesting. I saw this story and I was about to cover it, and then Jimmy Dore covered it. So it's like if somebody doesn't cover a story, somebody else will real quick. Florida police raid house of COVID-19 whistleblower Rebecca Jones. Have you guys seen this? Apparently, the government of Florida, this woman worked for the government of Florida, the state of Florida, and they were trying to get her to alter and or suppress COVID-19 information, and she would not do it. They sent the police to her house to confiscate her computer. So let's look at this a little bit. The ousted data scientist has accused the state of asking her to censor and alter public-facing coronavirus data. Rebecca Jones, the former Florida official who says she was ousted from her job managing the state's COVID-19 data for refusing to censor and alter case information, said Monday that armed officers raided her Tallahassee home and took all of her tech hardware. Jones, who was fired in May from her job in which she led data scientists and public health experts at Florida's Department of Health, posted a video she captured of the Monday morning incident in which At least 4 officers entered with a warrant on her computer. He just pointed a gun at my children, Jones yells in the footage after telling the officers that her husband and 2 kids were also in the house. Let's look at this footage. It's pretty...
Come outside. Outside. Who else is in the house, man?
My 2 children and my husband.
Where's your husband? Calm down. Calm down.
You want the children now?
Calm them all down. Mr. Jones, come down the stairs. Now! Police, come down now!
Search warrant,
Bring them down the stairs!
My children!
Let me clear my
He just pointed a gun at my children!
Search warrant! Come out.
All I can say is, wow. This is the state of censorship in this country, that they sent officers to confiscate this woman's computers because she was putting out real information, not falsifying information. But then when she was fired, she was putting out real information. She went public. So Jones went public with allegations that her superiors had told her to put misleading and false information on the public-facing COVID-19 dashboard, which people could use to track data about coronavirus infections in Florida. The information they asked her to post would have overcounted the number of COVID-19 tests performed and undercounted the total number of cases, she said, as Florida rushed to reopen its economy. She also said she was asked to remove evidence of people testing positive for the virus in January. She has since launched her own coronavirus dashboard where she has been posting daily updates on case counts. The police took her phone and computer she uses to post that information, she said, telling her they were related to a security breach and a complaint filed by Florida's health department. Jones accused Florida Governor Ron DeSantis of sending the police to her house. When reached for comment, his office directed HuffPost to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Wow. So when people, it is very, very frustrating to me. I'm going to say this one more time. It is super, super frustrating and appalling and also infuriating that people will come to this channel and complain and leave super entitled comments about, oh, he's talking about censorship in YouTube in Rockfin. This is the state of censorship in this country, that they are sending police to people's houses to confiscate computers if they're putting out information that the government does not want you to put out. They are taking down, now I just heard this morning, I was listening to Jamal Thomas's Fault Lines broadcast. They are now censoring and taking down YouTube channels who are talking about anything regarding the contesting of the election, the 2020 election, or election fraud. Anybody who's covering those news stories, they are taking down YouTube channels. It is a news story. It is actually happening. Whether you believe there was fraud or not, or whether you're on the side of Joe Biden, whether you're just happy that Trump's gone, whether or not you think that Trump and his people and the states, this is an actual story. They're suing. There are still litigation going on around the election. Whether you believe in it or not, whether you think it's silly or not, whether you think it's right or not, it is a news story that's happening, and people are covering it. So they are taking down, one of the channels that I really enjoy watching that I think is doing great work is called The Convo Couch. They are also in Rockfin. I really like that channel, and they are lefties, they are progressives, they are covering election fraud. It is a issue that is real and concerning to many people. Even if it doesn't concern you, or if it's not an issue that you care about, they have every right to cover it, and they have every right to talk about it. But YouTube is now starting to censor, take down channels who are talking about the litigation going on around the election And that is straight up censorship. If you are supporting this censorship, or if you don't care because it's not your guy, you are encouraging the censorship of things that you care about and yourself. I urge you to think long and hard about stating that you don't care or not being concerned or not supporting people who are fighting for free speech in this country, who are fighting against censorship in this country. And I urge you long and hard before you leave any comment on this channel about, he's talking about vaccine and YouTube and censorship, to question what your life is about, really, or what, how entitled you might be as a human being. And I'm going to actually consider you a troll at that point, maybe in the employ of intelligence agencies, I don't know, maybe you really feel that way, or maybe you really think that way. But I mean, you have to be really one entitled, callous person to just be so enthralled with your own existence and, inward looking, that you can't understand why it is that people are concerned about this, and why it is of high concern to so many channels and so many people talking about what's going on, how hard they are being censored. This is going on all over the place. I see all channels talking about this, about how hard they're being censored. It is a real and present danger to our First Amendment free speech rights. So anyways, Environmental Coffee House, thank you for the super chat so much. Saying, you are doing an awesome job, Kev. Thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate you. Anyways, yeah, let's, so this is a real story that's very concerning, and moving on again to another issue I wanted to cover. Hold on one second. A friend of mine posted this on Instagram, and this is around vaccines. Again, another issue that they're censoring people on YouTube and other platforms for having any questions around vaccines, or even bringing up the issue, having any concerns. This is very scary. So a friend of mine posted this post about a vaccine, a vaccine awareness activist. Her name was Brandy Vaughn. And she writes, this is the post I wish I didn't have to write, but given certain sudden tragedies over the last couple of years, I feel it's absolutely necessary to post these 10 facts. And please screenshot this for the record. She says, I've never had any thoughts of taking my own life, not once ever, even before I had my son. 2, I have a huge mission in this life. Even when they make it very difficult and scary, I would never take my own life, period. 3, Bastian, her son, means everything to me, and I would never leave him, period. I have sole custody, and he needs me as much as I need him. I would never think of leaving him for a second. 4, I have never been on an antidepressant nor been diagnosed as depressed. Don't believe it. I couldn't read the rest of that. 5, I've never taken a daily pharmaceutical drug, and I haven't taken any pharmaceuticals in 10 years, And 10 years ago, it was 1 pill one day. Nothing over the counter, nothing by prescription. In other words, I'm not on anything that could kill me unexpectedly or suddenly. I've never done illegal drugs either, not even once. 6, there's no way anyone could get into my house, not robbers, no angry exes, which I don't have, by the way, no fanatical people. My house is like Fort Knox, unless it was someone super professional. It just wouldn't be possible for anyone without highly special equipment and tactics, i.e. remotely taking down my high-level security system, which they have done before, unfortunately. But my place is also highly secure in a hardwired kind of way. So even if the power was out, most people could still never get in. 7, if something were to happen to me, it's foul play, and you know exactly who and why. Given my work and mission in this life, I'm also not accident prone. 8, if something were to happen to me, I have arranged for a close group of my friends to start a GoFundMe to hire a team of private investigators to figure out all the details. I have the team and have passed the info on to them. Oh, and money for a PR firm to make it national news. There would be a press release sent to every journalist in this country and more. It would not be swept under the rug, and it would be their worst nightmare. 9, there have been many on this mission or similar one that have been killed, and it's time this bullshit stopped. The darkness cannot win. 10, I will never stop speaking out for those who no longer can, even if it's from the other side, where I imagine it would be far more powerful. I have a team of angels surrounding me every step of this journey, but prayers and protection and love always appreciated. Guess what? Brandy Vaughn was found dead the other day by her son. And let me tell you, well, it's interesting because when I looked up this story, I could not find it on any national news outlet. I did find it on a few other outlets, but there were no major news outlets covering the story. And you can only wonder why. Billy Joe Schmo Frankincense, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. So let me go to what I found. I could not find this story on any major news outlets. I could only find it on smaller, like health news websites. And I also found this article on Medium. And this is from yesterday. A Merck whistleblower, Brandy Vaughn, murdered by Big Pharma. Pharmaceutical representative Brandy Vaughn had decided to leave her profession at the drug company Merck & Co. amidst Merck & Co.'s famous Vioxx scandal. Vioxx, an arthritis drug, directly caused an estimated 50,000 deaths and paid over $7 billion by individual court settlements. That was the total, I guess, due to their ensemble of victim-related crimes. After her 3 years in the business, which ended in 2003, Ms. Vaughn spent the better half of a year in Europe, gave birth in Amsterdam, then came home to California before pursuing travel around the globe, successfully speaking out against the shadiness that is Big Pharma. Ms. Vaughn famously spoke out against Senate Bill 277 in Sacramento. Bill 277 removed personal belief as a reason for exemption from the vaccination requirements. If y'all didn't know that, they passed a bill removing that exemption. So at one time, people could opt out of vaccines, and they still can somewhat, but it's very, very difficult. As she returned home from Sacramento, she had found her property was trespassed the night before she returned. Anyways, her body was found on December 8th, 2020. Her body was found inside her home by her 9-year-old son. And again, I could not find news coverage of this on any mainstream news channel, but I'm going to play you a bit of this video where she is speaking about things that had happened to her that were very scary. Anyways, let's see this.
That decision 3 months ago, I know that I knew I was going to take some heat for it, but I wasn't quite sure how much heat. And so I'm making this video today to describe the intimidation tactics that have been used against me to try and silence me. The first one happened when I was coming back from the Capitol rally in Sacramento against SB 277. We're not going away! We're not going away! We're not going away! We're not going away! And I came home with a friend to my hiding key being on my doorstep, open to the key. And the story behind this was a year ago when I bought my house, I hid that deep in the bushes, and 6 months ago I had looked for it because I thought, well, it's probably not a good idea to have a key to my house right outside my door. I couldn't find it, but when I came back from Sacramento, that one time, it was about 2 months ago, that the key was on my doorstep, open to the key. That day I had my locks changed, and I called an alarm service, and I installed a $3,000 alarm system 2 days later. So what happened apparently is someone opened the door, the front door, went through the front door, picked the lock, and my alarm went off, and they immediately disarmed it with the master code, which nobody had but me. I made sure nobody else had that code, and they disarmed it at the panel with that code. The panel's inside. According to the alarm company, at 3:45 in the morning, somebody entered in through the front door, the alarm went off. They disabled the alarm by putting in the master code right away into the panel. And then at 3:46 in the morning, my hallway monitor sensor went off. So someone went down the hall. And then at 3:48, someone opened my dining room window and then closed it right away. And then if you notice, the dining room window actually faces out towards the backyard, which is much more private than the front door, which they used to enter that time. And then they went over to the keypad, entered the code again, and then left through the front door at 3:49. After the incident, I talked to some security experts who have actually done intimidation for corporations, and they explained a few things. They said, well, A, they were probably tapping your place, so everything I say and do in here is listened to, if not watched. And then opening of the back window, because it's a much more private way to get in for future reference, for future visits. When I did return home, and the police came in and made sure nobody was here, and then I came in after the alarm was set off, after the break-in, and what I did notice was they had left this window unlocked, like this, and before I left for Sacramento, all of the windows and doors were locked, double locked actually.
I'm not going to play this whole video because it's a little bit longer, but I just wanted to shed some light on this story. As far as I can tell, it is a real story. It's going on, and but it seems, well, maybe not that bizarre that it is not covered anywhere on the mainstream news at all. On any corporate mainstream news outlet, this is not being covered. So I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on that. And I will follow this story, and I will bring you more information as more information comes to light. Let's look at this craziness out of India. There's been this incident where over 500 are sick, one dead after nickel and lead found in patients' blood. So people have been falling ill with from some mysterious reason. Medical experts in India are baffled by a mysterious illness that has left more than 500 people sick and at least one dead after the new affliction was first reported Saturday. Scores of people in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh have been hospitalized since the illness was first detected in Eluru. Geeta Prasadini, the state's director of public health, said some people started convulsing without warning. Other symptoms include nausea, anxiety, and loss of consciousness. A report Tuesday suggested that traces of lead and nickel found in the patient's blood samples may be the cause of the illness. But public health officials are still searching for a definitive link between all patients. Nobody knows. So again, mystery illness in India. Some people were saying that it was some kind of, they thought it was a new form of virus. But they're also thinking that it could be poisoning from pesticides. They tested people for dengue and other illnesses. They said that all the patients tested negative for COVID-19. But we will also keep an eye on that story as well. We'll bring more to you as more comes to light. And lastly, let's go into outer space. I want to cover the story because this is fairly wild. This is a wild news story. This is on NBCnews.com. And let me see, this is from December 8th. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. A quote-unquote galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are, Haim Eshed said. I feel like that's, kind of given knowledge, or that's an old storyline from a lot of science fiction stories, which is, yeah, there are aliens out there, but we weren't ready for them, so they turned around and went back to another destination. Anyways, a former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a galactic federation. This is an interesting story. Remember when I told you guys about the hacker 20 years ago who hacked into the Department of Defense, the U.S. Department of Defense computers, and found references to off-world commanders, basically Department of Defense officials who were dubbed off-world commanders, right? And he was actually brought up on charges, of course, hacking charges and espionage charges. But the things he revealed were also eyebrow-raising. But anyways, the unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready. Haim Eshed, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry's Space Directorate, it's a pretty official title, told Israel's Yedioth Aharonot, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Yedioth Aharonot newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. A respected professor and retired General Eshed said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand, quote-unquote, the fabric of the universe. Eshed said cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars. Okay, so either this man is privy to a lot of information that not a lot of people are privy to, or he has been hitting the pipe or something. But anyways, including an underground base in the depths of Mars where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. I mean, I believe anything in these days and times. There is an agreement. This is very interesting that the head, of the Space Directorate of Israel is coming out with this. I don't mean to impinge his credibility by saying that he's been hitting the pipe. I'm just joking, by the way. You be the judge. Aisha added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information but was not asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are, Eshed said, referring to the Galactic Federation. Excuse me. The White House and Israeli officials did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. Sue Go, a spokesperson for the Pentagon, declined to comment. A spokesperson for NASA said one of the agency's key goals was the search for life in the universe, but that it had yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life. Although we have yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life, NASA is exploring the... Well, wait a minute. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Didn't we have the Navy and other entities in the Department of Defense come out and admit that they had come into contact with unidentified objects? So why this blanket, statement of denial? I don't really understand. Hold on one second, guys. Anyways, I'm back. And Andy the gardener says, if they stop talking about all this, we will know it's true. Yes, environmental coffee house. Maybe there is extraterrestrial life, but we have pressing issues here indeed. Brian Melt says, build that space wall. Okay. Poppy Davis says, faux news. Who knows? Who knows? It's interesting that all this, alien admissions of alien contact are coming out. I'm not really quite sure what it means myself, honestly. I kind of believe it with half of my, part of my brain. I'm like, okay, maybe it's true. I also think it could be intentional information put out there to kind of, I don't know what. It's maybe a misdirect on some level. I'm not really sure. Yeah, Salt Lakers, it's hard to find intelligent life on Earth, indeed. Osama says an object can escape a celestial body of mass m only when its kinetic energy is equal to its gravitational potential energy. Okay. Valhalla says, be careful what you reveal or you might be suicided. Yeah, because that's never happened before. And by never, I mean totally happened before. Andy the gardener, damn, I wish there were aliens, our final chance. I was just saying that the other day, like I'm maybe in the course of human and or, galactic history, maybe again, and I said this a long time ago. Who knows what's going to happen in the near future? Maybe some alien life form swoops down and gives us some, magic technology that's going to save the planet. Do I think that's really going to happen? I'm not pinning any of my hopes or dreams on it, but small possibility, however likely or unlikely. Right, Kuro Hikes, we have military footage of UFOs, and we have the Pentagon saying that there are indeed UFOs. There isn't really a debate anymore about it. I find it funny that NASA is like, no, of course not. We've never found any intelligent life in the universe, but we have footage of Navy planes encountering things that we don't understand. So, I don't know. Kuro Hikes also says the New York Times has a story where private contractors said they are in possession of some alien artifacts. I mean, I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. I don't doubt that, somebody's had contact at some point in time. I wouldn't be surprised. However, I have personally myself, other than those pieces of footage from the Navy, and you could probably be skeptical about that kind of stuff, right? If they were putting it out there in order to generate a response in the public, which they totally could. I myself have not personally seen anything definitive, yay or nay. That's just me, but I'm not, believe what you want. And I'm not, I find the footage from the U.S. Navy interesting, but I wouldn't call it definitive, especially if it's coming from a government source. Like, okay, sure, I believe it, sure. Tic Tac, right? The Tic Tac footage. All right, guys, that's about it. Just wanted to leave you all with a little alien new, with a little off-world news. I appreciate your presence in this chat every day. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Osama says, I've been there with them. I can tell you all you want to know. Well, hey, we might have to have a conversation about that. I'd be down. Osama, number 5. Rockfin people, thank you for hanging out with me on Rockfin. You guys are the bomb. And thank you all for hanging out with me on YouTube's. I'll be back at the usual time tomorrow of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until next time, peace.